Hi, welcome, my little lovelies. Hello. I am going to be doing a collective reading today. This reading is specifically for survivors, people that are on their own healing journey, as well as for artists and creatives too. I have done some prayer before and have already done some work to set this up for us all. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I have asked that anything that needs to come out for you, and we'll just really go ahead and see for this collective, this little pocket, what needs to surface. I'm just going to pull a few cards to start, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So the first card that came out is aloneness. Aloneness. There's been maybe a resistance to settling into the self. When I see this card come up, I often see it as having to navigate the self, having to spend time alone with the self, and relationship build with the self, so that this light becomes clear and that you can follow it. This light is very much your intuitive knowing, your self-knowing, the spark in the soul of your body that guides you. I also really see this being like kind of like the North Star energy a lot, but I don't know, this is a time of closure and needing closure and more time with the self, but not isolating, right? It is more about connecting in depth with yourself, and that can look various ways for some people, like sometimes connecting to the self and getting those moments of silence or stillness that can help bring forth kind of clarity or relationship building within yourself to tune into that voice. Can be bouncing at the club, right? It can be going for long walks, going to the river, writing music. It can be going to concerts, it can be going to the movies, it can be whatever brings that for you, right? It might be gaming, it might be journaling, it might be whatever that looks like for you. But creating more pockets of time for that, specifically for connecting back into your innate knowing. The source card also came out. You might have been feeling kind of disconnected from this flow kind of as of recently. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe when I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, it's like you're searching for this source. You are searching for a connection to the source, and I think this highlights that continued information from what I just described with that last card of connecting into your innate knowing, right? You are divine, you are of the source. All is one and one is all. That quote from Full Metal Alchemist is coming up for me with this, in these two cards in tandem, right? It's like you are a part of the all, and the all is a part of you. So you are never disconnected from it, even if it feels like it. You just have to choose to listen to it, choose to see it, choose to acknowledge it. And sometimes those moments where we feel uncertain or disconnected or stagnant or delayed can be a part of the journey, can be a part of the process of what is needed to tap you back into the source, right? But this also gives to me that there is this divine kind of calling that has been tugging you toward it more and more and more. It doesn't feel quite clear, solidified yet, but it's almost like you can taste it, you can smell it, right? You just can't see it, right? So it's like the other senses are involved, but not quite the visual part of it yet, which I think can leave a lot of us feeling questioning. And so it's okay to go through that questioning process, but those answers reside in tuning to yourself, listening to yourself, and coming back in. And remembering that you are a part of the all, right? And when you feel disconnected from it, when you connect to yourself, you can connect to it. When you connect with nature, you can connect to it, right? Everything. The burden card also came out. It looks like this. So this is the burden card. Very much is like you're carrying a lot right now. You might be feeling burdened by wanting to take action, but feeling like you're staggering around in the dark, or maybe responsibilities are piling up in a way where you don't quite know how to attend to them, or that this thing that you have wanted for so long, the journey getting to it where you're at now feels heavier than normal. And so there's a message within this to just kind of like drop it, right? I do that because I'm like imagining this guy just like tossing him off his shoulder and being like, wait, maybe I don't have to go this way, right? Like you're saying, maybe the weight of society and what other people think they're telling me what direction to go, I can drop, I can let go of, and I can go a completely different direction. And maybe that will bring relief. And that does take a certain amount of strength. This being a 6 number card also very much so is bringing up that daily life responsibilities, the more domestic responsibilities might be overwhelming at this time. Like eating multiple times a day, hygiene, catching up with your friends, cleaning, organizing, those more, I want to say like mundane and ordinary tasks that have to be attended to, right? It kind of gives the like the burden when you have dishes and laundry, and yet the dishes and laundry never ends, right? If you don't do the dishes, they just need to be done, and when you do the dishes, they just need to be done, and when you do the laundry, it just needs to be done again. Like it feels kind of like that type of overwhelm when you're like, when does it end? When does it stop? And it's like some things require shifting perspective and letting go of the external directions that are pointing at you or pressures building on top of you, and doing it your own way, right? Finding out how to make those things easier to tend to for you. It's interesting that's coming up too, I think, because I feel like I've personally had some conversations with people recently about this, to a certain degree, but like not as intense. But really is just like, okay, like how can I make this thing that needs to happen as easy as possible for me to do it? And how can I make it as fun? Where do I need help? Where do I need to ask for help? Where is this leading me? And how do I shift these things or responsibilities that I have to do that I'm feeling tired or overwhelmed by into being bite-sized, chewable, fun, playful, and like refreshed and renewed. So that's been coming up. Let me see if there's anything else. If there's anything else. Okay. Kind of figured that card was going to come up. So the turning in card came out. Turning in. Again, this is kind of like all those external pressures of society, maybe of people around you, voices of the past, voices of people who've tried to convince you that you are a certain thing or that you are not a certain thing. This card really asks that you put up a barrier, you close your eyes to all of that, and you tune in to yourself, that you center and ground yourself, and you open yourself up to your own intrinsic understanding. When I see this card and like looking at it now, feeding comes up, where it's like, okay, maybe that you've felt like there are certain energies or people or situations that are feeding off of you, and you are looking for solutions to those things, or maybe feel fogged a bit. And so turning into yourself, turning into your inner voice and strengthening that can really help you find the next step, the next solution, or simply provide a moment of grounding for you to be able to recenter yourself in yourself as a divine, powerful being. This card also is about like emotional depth, intuition, and learning to let go of the voices that have taught you like harmful beliefs about yourself or strict conditioning things, right? And so it's like, shut them off. I guess a good example to ground this a little bit is like when you're working on a project and you feel excited about it at first, but then as you continue working on it, maybe something doesn't go as planned, and then you lose the motivation, the excitement, and a voice pops in your head, right? And is like, says something like, you always make mistakes. Like, you always just make mistakes. Why do you think your dreams are going to come true if you're always someone who makes mistakes? It sounds like your voice when it happens. This is just like a hypothetical example, okay? It sounds like your voice when it happens, but it isn't, right? It might be the voice of a family member that talk down to you like that you hold on to, that has masked itself as your voice, that has integrated itself into you. It also might be a more shadowy part of yourself coming out that is trying to serve as a protective function, and you have to really turn inward and like right? Be like, I see you, you're trying to protect me. That is not what is happening anymore. I see you, you're the voices of people in my past that have caused me specific wounds. That is not my voice. I do not have to adopt that as me or my narrative anymore. I think turning in and being able to recognize what your voice sounds like amongst all of the noise, right? Which is not necessarily easy to do, but to be able to find that, it'll help. It will help so much. Okay, just take a breath. All right. Another card that came out was projections. The projections card. And this one was at the bottom of the deck when I started this video, and I noticed that just briefly because of how I'd picked up the cards in the video, and I can see myself because front-facing camera. And I was like, And I almost popped out once before, and so I'm not surprised this card came out, which is why I said that earlier, but projections came out. Yeah. I want to hold these both up to you. I want you to see the similarity. I'll try to get closer and still clear. See the similarity of the faces in the fog here and in this. It's like this is more detailed of this, right? And so it's like, oh yes, we are constantly projecting all of the time. And it's like our past is projecting onto us, our future is projecting onto us, our society is projecting onto us, our cultural norms and values project onto us. We develop and take it in and project that onto ourselves or others. And this can be sometimes, I think, hard and painful and like negative, but I also think this is much more neutral after years of exploring what projection means, how it works and functioning. I can say this is a lot more neutral, right? But I guess to tie it back kind of to the other card where it's like, okay, like a voice from someone in your past that has caused a wound that you still need to heal and are holding on to projects itself as your own because that wound still needs to be held. I think projections often show us where we still need healing, as well as what our values are, what our morals are, what our ethics are, what our worldview is, right? It's like you can have two different people in one projector and have a movie night. Those two people are going to pick wildly different movies from each other. And so this card is a reminder to kind of explore the ways in which the world has influenced and shaped your thoughts, your patterns, your behaviors, your beliefs, your values, your creativity, and wants you to explore more of like, what is it that you are putting out into the world, right? I'm not saying it like is always a perspective thing, because I think that can also be really invalidating. Like, we live in a world, and there are very real, difficult, painful experiences and situations and things that we all have to deal with. And it influences everything. It influences our ability to process information. It influences our ability to decision make. It influences our ability to nourish ourselves. Yeah, sorry. I had to adjust because my body hurt. But I don't know. And also, I think this card wants integration. I have to hold it back up. So it's like these projections are parts of themselves, these two people that are being shown, that are just coming out a little closer to each other, right? And so it's like, this is asking for integration. And so it would be good to also, while turning into your own voice and, you know, everything else that was said, it would also be good to spend some time, I think, exploring and reflecting on and integrating these parts of yourselves. That can look really different for everyone. I'm all for using a creative practice to do so, right? So if you've noticed that there is a specific wound or situation or thought or emotion that you're facing time and time again that is causing overwhelm or dysregulation or uncertainty, to sit down and explore on a piece of paper with some crayons. Just like really simple. Don't think about it, don't conceptualize it, don't try to make it good and perfect or to sell. Like, just sit and let yourself process as you color and draw, right? And see what turns up. And then if it's something really painful, you can literally, I'd say, burn it. Or one of my favorites is like writing it down or drawing it out and then taking it and burying it at a tree and asking them to carry that energy away, right? When you're done processing it, whatever that looks like. And that's for the more painful stuff. It doesn't always have to be heavy or painful too. Like sometimes it'll be something more inspiring or motivational. Like, I guess a personal example of a projection of mine, right, that I have is I have seen so many people around me be able to, through support and hard work and never giving up, create beautiful things for themselves, like that are in alignment with these dreams that they've always wanted to fulfill. And that influences me in such a way where it's like, oh yes, anything is possible, right? So when I hear a friend talk to me about a dream, I'll project that onto them and I'll be like, yeah, you can totally do that. Do it. I triple dog dare you to follow your dreams. Do it, right? And so that can be like a positive form of that, for sure. But then there's like the more negative form of that sometimes, where when I negatively project, I'll use the same example of anything is possible. Like sometimes I will go through and I have gone through certain things that are so traumatizing that it's like, anything is possible. So maybe, I guess, don't trust people ever again. Because why would you trust someone when anything is possible? Like, they could do so much damage to you. And so you can see that same kind of sentiment in both aspects of projection, of being positive and negative. I think that's just an example I wanted to give. So if you do take time to explore and process things, like I just want to clarify that it doesn't have to be all negative, and what comes up might not be all negative, but it could be positive or neutral, right? And it might be both. And most oftentimes it will be both. But anyway, that seems to be continually a thing. I'm gonna sip some water and then I think I'm just gonna maybe pull one more card. And if you've made it this far, thank you. Hi. Okay. Did I introduce myself? I don't remember. I just want one more card. Wow. Clinging to the past came up. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. I hope that didn't sound too condescending. It's more just like, I'm not surprised. I love this card also. This is what it looks like. I really think when we're in these huge transformational spaces, these spaces where we get overwhelmed and something has to change or something is changing, There is uncertainty and fogginess and a need to connect back into the self and external sources that have shaped how you think and how you feel and behave and values and ethics. And when we're looking at the vast complexity of all that, like, it makes sense clinging to the past came up. It's like if we want to write a new story for ourselves, or we want to clarify certain things, or we need to heal certain things, at a certain point that means letting go of the past. And not just letting go of the past like, oh yeah, like I have healed this wound enough that it no longer impacts me holding on to the past, like type stuff, where it's like, oh, I'm still holding on to this thing that my mom said to me when I was this age and it still impacts me today. I'm not talking about that when this card comes up today. This is about stopping clinging to the past in regards to narrative telling and how you view yourself and how you view the actions that you take. This isn't easy to do. And so much of what we have been through, I mean, it's like arguable here. I stopped and paused because it's like pretty much everything that we've been through influences our identity. I really like that the card shows just like this complex, detailed cube where the face is, but it's like discombobulated. It's fractured. There's parts. It's not all integrated, right? It's like we can allow, and it's natural to allow and to experience. It's literally innately natural to allow the past to shape how we view ourselves, how we identify ourselves, right? We use the past often to relate to ourselves, to make some sense of the weird cosmic goo that is being, right? You look at the past picture of yourself and you say, that was me as this age, this is what was happening. It's a story that you tell yourself. And it may be true, and that might be factual, and the things might be factual, and this isn't about whether it's like real or not, as much as it is about like, okay, what narratives are you still clinging to from the past that you don't have to anymore, that are outdated, in the sense of like, that isn't you anymore. That also might be why there's like projections happening and uncertainty and overwhelm and exhaustion happening, where it's like at a certain point you can't force yourself to fit into the body and the mind and the personality of you from a decade ago, or from 2 years ago, or from even 6 months ago. I also think something to mention in regards to using the past as a way to structure and narratively understand the way time passes is inaccurate and unfair to ourselves. I say this as someone who's deeply passionate about quantum physics, time, and being. Time doesn't work linearly. It's an emergent factor, not foundational. And each moment that happens is either the past or the future, right? We use the idea of the present to ground ourselves, because we are a type of being that can only function with so much, okay? Our bodies essentially are not built to be able to constantly live in the past and constantly live in the future, even if that's what we're doing. So we mechanically, as a mechanism to maintain survivability have created what we know as the present. But, okay, I'm getting a little sidetracked. But when you cling to the past, you are not clinging to time. You are clinging to a specific moment, right, that has occurred, that can reoccur, that will reoccur, that also, I think, in regards to how time works, like, can't realistically, in the makeup of things, be determined and labeled as the past. I know that was all really weird sounding and might have been a little kooky and hard to internalize, and so I'm trying to find a way to ground it a little, because this is something that can be really, I think, dysregulating to process, because reality is not what it seems at all, by the way, and also is so outside of the norm of what we're used to, because we're used to living in a very strict, time-centered society and makeup, right? Okay. Essentially, sorry, I'm kind of laughing at myself right now. Essentially, it isn't ever fair to yourself to allow a moment that has occurred to make up your entire identity. Whether it's, and I'll put this in grounded terms, even though I don't want to, whether it's the past, the present, or the future, right? No matter what it is, no matter what time it is. We are more as people than just ever one moment in our life. We are more as people than just multiple moments in our lives, right? There's so much more. And identity is so complex and highly influenceable and necessary for individuation that we can cling and we can latch on to those moments where we felt certain and clear that we are here, we are ourselves, we know what we want, we know how we feel, I am me, right? But that shifts every single second, even if it isn't noticeable or recognizable, right? Even if there's this compounding sameness that occurs, it's like you can pick and choose even what moments you hold on to that can identify you. That's kind of a part of this. You don't need to hold on to things that are outdated, moments that used to identify you, that allowed you to participate in individuation further, that no longer are you. And so it can be really such a difficult time, that transition from firmly knowing your identity and your individuation and the moments that you have experienced, whether positive or negative, that have made up so strongly the image that is you. And it changes. And those images no longer, and those moments, positive or negative, no longer make you feel that way, right? They make the image blurry. The image that was you, that was once so clarified and concrete, is now blurred and uncertain, requiring that you explore and integrate the different projections that are influencing and muddying your sense of self, as well as turning into your own voice and connecting to yourself deeper and deeper, while at the same time doing what you can to make things just a little softer on yourself, just a little easier on yourself. Whether that's asking for help, putting on music, whatever, finding new ways, going back to old ways. I know we just talked about whatever, the past, whatever, but every moment's different, right? A song that sounds good to me today, that makes me want to bounce and dance and just feels motivated, might not work the same tomorrow, right? It might be different. The notes might sound a little off. Maybe it'll make me feel more sad. Everything shifts from moment to moment. And so, really, you have to trust yourself and trust your ability to weave through the complexities of everything to create this thing. I say that because it is going to be so different from all of us who are here right now. You will know best what I am talking about when I say that. You'll feel it somewhere, even if you can't visually see it or don't know, right? Like, logically, no, like, anyway. So, okay, that was a lot for today, but thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here for this, for taking the time to listen, for tapping in, for tuning in, and for spending a bit of your time with me today. I really love being able to do this, and I cannot express that enough when I do readings. I really do love this. Anyway, I can't remember if I introduced myself at the beginning of this video, so I'm going to introduce myself at the end. I'm Angel Hearings, and I run VenusicTransformations. VenusicTransformations is my little corner in the world that I am building as an art magic practitioner to help with survivors and people on a healing journey and artists and creatives in transformation, healing, and doing that through a lens of creation. So, yeah, just in case I didn't say that at the beginning. Hello. I am, I guess, thinking about, well, I'm not thinking about, I've been working on updating my services and my offerings, and so I will continue working on that, and I will keep you all updated about when my books reopen and when I will start taking one-on-one readings again, because that is something I would love to do more of and I'm deeply passionate about. I just needed to take some time to sort myself out this past month, as I myself have been grieving. But it's all kind of coming together, and I'm really excited about this offering I've been working on, and to finally get it out into the world eventually. So you will definitely want to keep an eye out for that. I'll be posting there on my, I'll be posting about it on my Instagram and my threads and my Substack. I almost couldn't say that. And my Substack, and of course here. So yeah, I guess that's all. I will put in the description my other socials that you can follow me at if you want to see more of the stuff that I do. And if you resonated with this at all and enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I think that's the first time I said that out loud. So, look, I can do the things. Anyway, thank you again for being here. And I hope you all a very grounded time. So, goodbye.